All right, look, if your food cost is 32, 35, maybe even 40%, and you're still not seeing any real money in the bank, this video is for you. I get it, you're busy. Tickets are flying, the dining room's not empty, the line is sweating every night, and yet, when you look at the P&L, the margin just isn't there. Everyone around you is blaming inflation, vendor prices, the market. Yeah, those things are real, but that's not the whole story. A lot of what's killing your restaurant is happening inside those four walls. Bad habits, sloppy systems, decisions that made sense when you were small, but now you're leaking cash faster than the BP oil spill. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 3 food cost habits that you need to 86 and what to replace them with, so you can bring that percentage down in a real, measurable way. Let's get into it. Today, we're going straight at food cost, and we're starting with the first bad habit that's slowly killing your margins: guesstimate ordering. You've probably seen this 1,000 times, and you might be doing it yourself. It's order day. Chef walks in the cooler, takes a look around, maybe lifts a few lids and glances in some milk crates, and he thinks to himself, it looks a little low. Then they walk back to the office, pick up the phone, or punch it into the online portal, and just make a call. No clipboard, no sales data, no par sheets, just vibes. Well, here's the problem with that. Vibes don't pay invoices. When you order like that, you almost always end up on one of two ends. You overorder and things just die in your walk-in, or you play it safe and you still run out of things on a busy Saturday night. Both of those things are eating away at your profits. Let's talk about the overordering side first. Every extra case of produce that you order is just cash sitting on your shelf. And a lot of that cash is literally rotting. Take a bistro that's doing maybe $20,000 to $35,000 in sales a week. If your chef is overordering produce and dairy by just $100 a week, one extra case of herbs, an extra case of tomatoes, some berries that you say you're gonna put on a special but you never do, over the course of a year, that's more than $5,000 straight to the trash can. $5,000 that you already worked for because we felt low on product. Multiply that across proteins, frozen, dry goods. You're easily talking about tens of thousands of dollars a year for a busy operation. You feel it as food cost is creeping up. But the cause is simple. You're buying too much of the wrong stuff, too often, and with no plan. So how do we 86 this? Par levels and inventory discipline. Now I can already picture someone in the comments saying, but we don't have time to do a full inventory every single week. Cool. I'm not asking you to lock yourself into the walk-in with a scale and a bottle of bourbon. Although the bottle of bourbon might make things go a little bit easier for you, if I'm being totally honest. Par levels are the middle ground. Here's how to think about it in plain English. A par level is just how much of this item do we want on hand when we are fully stocked for a normal week. If your par for tomatoes is 10 cases, that means when you're fully stocked and ready for a normal week, you have 10 cases of tomatoes. On order day, you don't need to guess. You count and you order the difference. If your par is 10 and you have 3 cases, you order 7, not 8 because you feel like being safe, and not 5 because you think you can get by. Your par is 10. Just order the difference. It's incredibly simple, but almost no one does it consistently. Let's walk through it step by step. First, pick your top 10 highest movement items. Not everything in the building, just the stuff that moves every day. For each one, I want you to ask, on a normal week, how much of this item do we like to have on hand? That number is going to become your par. Write it on a piece of paper, or a whiteboard, a Google Sheet, a napkin, I don't care. Anything that you're actually going to use. Then, on order day, someone's going to walk into the cooler with that list and write down how many you actually have. Not feels like 3, literally count the cases and approximate open product in a realistic way. Par minus on hand equals your order. You do that consistently for your top 10 items for a few weeks, and you'll see your waste drop and your food percentage stabilize. Now, is this a fully optimized, software-driven specific system? No. Is it a massive upgrade from your inability to count things? Yes. Here's your do this tomorrow move. Before your next order, choose your top 10 highest moving items and write down a par list for each one. Then you're going to order based on the gap, not the gut feeling. That one change alone is going to start to 86 thousands of dollars of waste over the course of a year. All right, that's habit number 1. Let's move over to the line now, where the money really disappears. If the cooler is where you overspend, then the line is where you give it away. Let's talk portion creep. Portion creep is what happens when your team stops measuring and starts eyeballing. When a plate is a feeling and not a spec. You have probably seen this play out in real time. New cook wants to keep guests happy, so maybe the handful of fries he grabs is just a little bit bigger, or the slice of cheesecake is just slightly thicker. The burger looks good on Instagram. It's no big deal, right? It's just a bit more. Now multiply just a bit more by every guest, every shift, every week. Let's do simple math for one specific item. Say your burger comes with 1 slice of cheese, supposed at 1 ounce. That ounce of cheese, after waste and trimming, let's say costs you 20 cents. Now let's say the line starts getting loose. Instead of 1 ounce, it's starting to become 1.5 ounce, maybe 2 slices of cheese, because they feel like making the burger look nice. Let's be extremely conservative and say it's just an extra ounce of cheese on a burger on average. You sell 50 burgers a day, 6 days a week. That's 300 burgers a week. 300 burgers times 20 cents extra cost equals $60 a week. Over a year, that's more than $3,000 on cheese because of just a bit more. Now layer that onto proteins, sides, sauces, desserts, whatever you want. Portion creep will destroy your menu costings quietly, behind your back, while you're still on the phone arguing with your vendor about a 3% discount. And here's the kicker. This isn't a math problem anymore. It's a culture problem. When nobody enforces specs, everyone creates their own version of the dish. Line cooks will say, well, I think it looks better this way. Or the last chef told us to make it big. Or I don't want to get a send back because of small portions. If you don't define right, the team will invent it. So how do we 86 portion creep? Easy. We standardize and we enforce. That means standardized recipes with exact weights and portions, scales and portion tools on the line, not hidden in dry storage, visual spec sheets or photos so everyone knows what right looks like. Let's start with proteins. Proteins are where the big money is. If your 8-ounce steak is routinely going out at 9 or 10 ounces, you are giving away thousands. You need scales on the line where proteins can be weighed, not in the office, not back there somewhere on the station. If a menu item is set to have 6 ounces of chicken, that chicken should either be pre-portioned or weighed on the line. It doesn't matter which, as long as it's not a guess. Same for your expensive sides. Mac and cheese, loaded fries, guac, whatever your expensive, high-cost items are. Use portion scoops and ladles that actually match your recipe. Don't leave it up to how generous your Sunday night line cooks feel. Then, add clear visual standards. Take a picture of a correctly plated dish and post it on the line or in a binder. Under the photo, list all the components. Now, when you or a manager walks the line, you're not arguing about opinions. You're checking against a standard. And yes, this only works if you actually enforce that standard. This is where a lot of operators fall down. They build the spec, but never hold anybody accountable. So the culture stays the same. Now, you don't need to be a jerk about it, but you do need to be clear. So here's your do this week move. Pick your top 5 most expensive or most popular items. Usually your main protein dishes, a signature app, or maybe it's your best-selling dessert. For each of those 5, do this. Define the exact portion weight. Write it down. Take a photo of the correct plate. Make sure there's a scale or correct scoop on the line to execute it. Then tell your team, these 5 items are non-negotiable. We are doing these by the book and by the spec. Get those under control before you worry about every side salad that you sell. You tighten up those 5 items and you'll start seeing your theoretical food cost match up to the P&L a lot more closely than it did before. All right, we fixed how you buy and we fixed how you serve. Now let's talk about how stuff comes in the door. Bad habit number 3, blind delivery check-ins. This one's simple, but kind of brutal. Truck pulls up, you're mid-lunch rush, tickets are hanging. Your host just triple sat section 3. Your bartender called out, and the delivery driver is standing over there with a clipboard staring at you. Hey, where do you want this? You might ask. And what usually happens? Some poor manager, or whoever walked by the door at the wrong time, grabs the invoice, takes the boxes, shoves them in the cooler, and says, we'll check it later. Spoiler, later never comes. Here's what goes wrong when you run deliveries like that. You get shorted on product. The invoice is 20 pounds, you actually got 15. You get the wrong item or a cheap substitution that doesn't match your menu. You accept low quality or damaged product because no one actually checked it. You pay prices that don't match your quote or your contract because no one's checking that either. Every one of those things hits your food cost. Vendors make mistakes, sometimes honest, and sometimes convenient. That's reality. But your job is to catch it, not to fund it. Let's use a simple steak example. Let's say you run a steak that, when fully trimmed and portioned, costs you $10 and you sell it for $32. Now imagine your vendor is shorting you 2 portions of usable steak every week because of bad cuts, sloppy trim, or weight that's just a little under what the box says. And you're not catching it. You're just signing and moving on. 2 portions a week is $20 in cost. Over the course of a year, that's a little over $1,000. You're starting to see how this is all adding up? Now scale that across chicken, seafood, produce, anything that is sold by weight. If you're not checking, you're absolutely losing money. Guaranteed. So how do we 86 blind delivery check-ins? We put a simple, systematic receiving process in place. Nothing fancy, just disciplined. Here's the framework. First, one person is responsible for receiving, not just whoever's around. A specific role, usually a manager, a chef, or a trusted key holder. Second, every item is checked off the invoice as it comes off the truck. Not after, not we'll count it later. As it comes off. You grab the case, you look at the label, you check the quantity. You strike a line through it on the invoice if it's right. If the weight looks off, you grab a scale. Third, you check quality and substitutions. If you ordered a specific brand or spec and they sent you something else, you ask why. If it's not acceptable and it won't work with your menu, you send it back. If the lettuce already looks like it's had a rough life, you don't say to the rep, well, we'll just pick through it. You say, nope, send it back. We'll take a credit. Fourth, verify pricing. You don't have to do a full audit at the back door, but you should do a quick check on key items against your quoted prices. If you agreed on $2.50 a pound and the invoice says $2.95 a pound, that's going to add up really fast. And here's the rule that changes everything. No invoice gets signed until all the product is checked. Period. Here's your do this for the next 7 days move. For 1 week, make it a non-negotiable that every delivery is checked item by item and no one signs until it is. Yes, it'll feel slower at first. Yes, it will feel annoying during a rush, but hopefully most of your food is being delivered before your service even starts anyway. But you will catch mistakes, and those mistakes are dollars. When you send back bad product, or you get credits on shorted items, you're directly changing your food cost without ever touching a recipe. If you stick with this habit, your vendors will also get tighter because they know that you're checking. Okay, so we talked about a lot. So let's zoom out and connect all the dots. We just walked through 3 habits. Guessing your orders instead of using par levels, letting portion sizes creep instead of enforcing standards, signing deliveries blind instead of checking what you're paying for. Individually, each one of those is kind of like a leak, but all together, it's a busted pipe. So what happens when you 86 all 3? First, better ordering reduces waste. You're not stuffing the walk-in full of product just in case. You're only buying what you actually need based on a par system. That means less food dying in the cooler and fewer, oh yeah, we forgot we had that case in the back moments. Second, better portions make your menu engineering actually mean something. You costed that burger, that steak, that pasta at a specific portion. When the team hits those specs consistently, your theoretical food cost and your actual food costs start to align. You stop feeling like the P&L is lying to you. Third, better receiving keeps you from getting overcharged. You're not paying for pounds you didn't get or quality that you didn't receive. You're not silently funding your vendor's mistakes. Those 3 together create the food cost flywheel. You order the right amount, you get less waste. You portion the right amount. Your margin per plate is protected. You receive the right amount. You're not robbed at the door. As that flywheel spins consistently week after week, you don't just drop your food cost, you keep it under control. I want you to notice something. We haven't talked about renegotiating contracts, changing prices on menus, or beating up your vendors for an extra 2% discount. All of that can come later, maybe with the bottle of bourbon in the walk-in. If your internal habits are broken, none of the advanced tactics are ever going to save you. You'll still be pouring money down the drain in your own operation. Now, fancy software systems definitely help, but you don't need them to fix this. You need consistent habits executed every week. So here's what I want you to do. Don't try and fix everything at once. I want you to pick one of these habits and commit to fixing it over the next week. Option 1, par levels. Before your next order, set simple par levels for those top 10 highest moving items. Option 2, portion control. Choose your top 5 most expensive or most popular dishes and lock in exact procedures on how to make them. Option 3, receiving. For the next 7 days, refuse to sign any invoice until every single item is checked, line by line. Pick one, own it, execute it. Then come back to this video and drop a comment below. Tell me which one you chose and what you're seeing. Is your waste going down? Fewer 86 moments of running out of product? Actual food costs matching what your spreadsheet said it was going to be? And if you want help with the other side of the operation, labor cost, chaotic operations, managers who are drowning, that's exactly what we're tackling next on 86 This. So if you're serious about cutting what doesn't work in your restaurant so your team and your business can thrive, hit subscribe and stick around. You don't have to accept high food costs. It's just the way it is. You just have to 86 the habits that are killing you. I'm Nick. This is 86 This, and I'll see you at the pass.